Book 1. 1. When the objects of an inquiry in any department have principles, conditions, or elements, it is through acquaintance with these that knowledge, that is to say, scientific knowledge, is attained. For we do not think that we know a thing until we are acquainted with its primary conditions or first principles, and have carried our analysis as far as its simplest elements. Plainly, therefore, in the science of nature, as in other branches of study, our first task will be to try to determine what relates to its principles. The natural way of doing this is to start from the things which are more knowable and obvious to us, and proceed towards those which are clearer and more knowable by nature. For the same things are not knowable relatively to us, and knowable without qualification. So in the present inquiry we must follow this method and advance from what is more obscure by nature, but clearer to us, towards what is more clear and more knowable by nature. Now what is to us plain and obvious at first is rather confused masses, the elements and principles of which become known to us later by analysis. Thus we must advance from generalities to particulars, for it is a whole that is best known to sense perception, and a generality is a kind of whole, comprehending many things within it, like parts. Much the same thing happens in the relation of the name to the formula. A name, e.g., round, means vaguely a sort of whole. Its definition analyzes this into its particular senses. Similarly, a child begins by calling all men father and all women mother, but later on distinguishes each of them. 2. The principles in question must be either A, one, or B, more than one. If A, one, it must be either 1, motionless, as Parmenides and Melissus assert, or 2, in motion, as the physicists hold, some declaring air to be the first principle, others water. If B, more than 1, then either 1, a finite, or 2, an infinite plurality. If 1, finite, but more than 1, then either 2 or 3 or 4 or some other number. If 2, infinite, then either, as Democritus believed, 1 in kind, but differing in shape or form, or different in kind, and even contrary. A similar inquiry is made by those who inquire into the number of existence, for they inquire whether the ultimate constituents of existing things are one or many, and if many, whether a finite or an infinite plurality. So they too are inquiring whether the principle or element is one or many. Now, to investigate whether being is one and motionless is not a contribution to the science of nature. For just as the geometer has nothing more to say to one who denies the principles of his science, this being a question for a different science, or for or common to all, so a man investigating principles cannot argue with one who denies their existence. For if being is just one, and one in the way mentioned, there is a principle no longer, since a principle must be the principle of some thing or things.